Scherzer, who we've spoken about, one of the top arms available, Jordan Montgomery, great pickup. Stratton, good pickup. The Rangers have really gone for it this year. And here's what I'm going to say. When it comes to grading the Rangers, I'm going to give them a B.
Okay.
Now here's why.
Yeah.
They went out and added Max Scherzer, as we spoke about, Hall of Famer, multi-time Cy Young Award winner. I'm gonna go B plus. Okay. Here's why I'm not going A.
Okay.
Max Scherzer isn't the Max Scherzer that we've become accustomed to in his career.
Yeah.
He's having one of the worst years of his career. He has over a 4 ERA. His fastball is at an all-time low. So you hear the name Max Scherzer and you immediately think, wow, what a big pickup for the Rangers. And I do think it's a really good pickup for them. But the reason I'm not able to go A for this team is because I think they're adding a pitcher that is going to be good, not great for them. And they did what they needed to do with the bullpen, adding Chapman. I'm going to go B plus. I think the Rangers have gotten exponentially better over the last month.
They're taking big risks. They did this season because remember, DeGrom as well also came from the Mets with two big arms that are some of the best in the game that aren't at the top of their game. But if that's what's available and maybe, again, like we said, change of scenery can flip something for a player. You hope so.
There's something to be said for going for it. Yeah. You know,
like, they're all in. Pushing all the chips in.
I respect it.
This is mean. The two Mets arms that were available, they got the lesser of the two. Yeah. Your brother coming off his Cy Young year and going to the Astros.
Justin probably wasn't available until Max went.
Okay, well, let's move on to our next grading the biggest movers. And this is the Angels. And I think you got to start this conversation with the biggest move being to take Shohei Ohtani off of the trade market, because that was the conversation basically the last month since the All-Star break. And once they took him off, they immediately became buyers. How do you grade how they did?
Well, that's kind of the piece that sent all of this into motion, right? That was the beginning of what do? First off, you decide what you're going to do with Shohei. And what they decided to do was keep him. And from that, it meant, well, we got to go all in now. We got to go for it. We got to try and make the playoffs, and that's how we're going to re-sign him. So they have really gone for it, adding a good starter, Lucas Giolito, adding Reynaldo Lopez, good back into the bullpen arm. Saw him pitch against the Braves last night, was out there throwing 101. Good bullpen arm. CJ Cron, back with the Angels, added him, called it, and Randall Grichuk added him as well. They've done a lot. They have really changed their team around. When it comes to the Angels, my thought and belief goes to arms. That's what you need. And the fact that as we currently sit here at 602, and I haven't heard much talking of them in another starting pitching arm. I would have loved to see them do something more than just Lucas Giolito, but that's being nitpicky.
All right.
With that said, I'm going to give them an A- on their trade deadline. Really good. Yeah. Really changed the team. They're playing great baseball now. We saw them go into Atlanta, win the first game there. They've been great since that decision to take Shohei off of the market. Randall Grichuk hit a homer in his first game with the Angels. Reynaldo Lopez comes in and finishes out that game for the Angels. CJ Cron has been hitting right behind Shohei for now, some protection there. And Giolito, pretty good first start against the Jays. So I really like what they've done. Could they have gone with a bigger star somewhere? Sure, but they didn't, and they ended up with a really good pull. I'm going to go A-.
Well, also remember, they're getting Mike Trout back pretty soon, hopefully, which is going to be another big, almost like pickup at the deadline, but passed
desperately
in like
need Mike Trout
back.
Because we're at it could be less than
a month.
Yeah. I've heard
Okay, a couple weeks.
You know,
you hope so.
What do I know?
No.
But I do know that they desperately need him because I don't care who you have behind Shohei in the lineup.
Yeah.
I don't care how good the player is, unless the player is one of the best of all time.
Unless it's Mike Trout.
Shohei is going to continue to get intentionally walked, which he is at a rapid pace right now.
Yeah.
And when Trout comes back, I imagine they're going to plug him in right behind Shohei.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're looking at you have to pitch to Shohei. Mike Trout's Mike Trout. You got to respect Mike Trout.
You got to pitch to both. Yeah. You're not going to pitch around him to get to Trout.
Really, really pleased. If you're an Angels fan and you hear Shohei's coming off the market, one, you scratch your head and think, oh boy, what does this mean? And then they've really gone for it. Respect that.
The entire AL West really went for it. Well, the top portion of the AL West really went for it.
I would probably bump up the A's.
We'll just hide the mic. Can I reach it? No.
The Angels too.
I thought maybe on the screen I could.
Please try to. Oh, it kind of works.
Hey, Angels get an A.
There you go. Perfect. Yeah, I really like that. Good move for them.
Oh, that's great. Okay, now we'll move to the NL Central, and we're going to talk the Brewers.
Yep.
Who've been kind of back and forth with the Reds for that first place spot. They made some moves at the deadline. What are you grading?
Brewers adding Carlos Santana, Mark Canha, Andrew Chafin. I like it.
Yeah.
I like what they've done. Look, this is exponentially better than when I was sitting here last year saying Brewers need to add a bat, and they traded Josh Hader. And I was like, cool.
Yeah.
Great. They needed offense desperately. I really like the pickup of Mark Canha. I really like the added power threat that Carlos Santana brings. And I really like adding Andrew Chafin into that bullpen, a good lefty arm. They needed that. They needed that guy that they can put in the back end of the bullpen and get them some big outs. They have that. Man, I like the Brew Crew. I like what they've done. I'm going to give them a solid B.
Oh.
They didn't add a big starting pitcher. They didn't add any elite offensive bat because there really weren't many out there to begin with. Oh, we did. Oh, B. We just put it up there.
You said
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I did say that.
What do you think you said?
I don't know what I thought I said.
I was like, wait, you said B for the Brew Crew.
I'm going to give them a B.
Okay.
And Mark Canha, really good addition. B. Good haul there.
All right. We got one more team that we're grading for the biggest movers, the Dodgers.
Yep.
Rolled back a couple of players. Do you believe that they got exactly what they needed?
No. I think the Dodgers missed, actually. I think they were in play on Justin until the bitter end. I think they probably thought they were. They thought they were in there. They don't get him. And then what did they do? They turned their sights to Eduardo Rodriguez, another huge arm available. And that blew up in their face because they got a deal done. It was done. It was in place. Tigers and the Dodgers, they had their deal. And he used his no trade clause to block the trade to the Dodgers. When that all came together, he blocked the trade to the Dodgers. And I think that left them in a position where they did not end up getting an arm.
Why? Has anything been leaked yet? Or have you heard anything? I mean, you have like insiders with the Tigers. So what are you hearing?
So he said he wanted to stay closer to the East Coast where his family is.
Okay.
And he has a 10-team no trade clause, right? And the Dodgers were one of those teams, which is wild to think about because normally if you put together 10 teams and a no trade clause and you're a good pitcher, no offense, but you're going to put the Rockies, the A's, the Royals. He put the Dodgers on his no trade clause and then used it to block it from potentially going out and winning a World Series this year. Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
There has to be a deeper reason, right? To like block going to a winning team, a team that like historically is a winning team too.
Look, I don't think people talk about the logistics behind trades enough. Let's use Justin, for instance, because I know this better than I know Eduardo Rodriguez's situation. But Justin, leaves Houston, a place he was comfortable with, a place he's got a home down there in Florida near that facility. And logistically, let's use the Dodgers, for instance. If he goes to the Dodgers, spring training is now where he's there for months of the year on the other side of the country from his home. They're in Florida. And there's logistically, He moved to New York, right? Has a place there. Now in the middle of the season, it's all come crashing and burning down for the New York Mets. So like, well, what do you really uproot everything? Like, he has a kid, Eduardo Rodriguez has a family. It's like logistically, okay, well, Houston, I know, I'm familiar there. I'm comfortable there. A mid-season switch isn't as crazy as perhaps the Dodgers would have been. And I don't think when people hear, why would he block his trade there? Well, maybe he has a home right next to the facility in Lakeland where he is now. Maybe he just bought a place. Maybe he doesn't want to be at spring training on the West Coast. Maybe he doesn't want to uproot his entire family and pull children out of the school that they've become comfortable with and make them leave their friends and all of that stuff. It really does matter. And it is a huge and I'm not putting words in Eduardo Rodriguez's mouth here because I don't know. But I do think logistically people don't think about that when it comes to trades. And it really is a human with a family uprooting their entire life and deciding to move somewhere. And he decided against that with the Dodgers.
Yeah. It's hard when it's like, it's a business, it's your job. These are things that happen. But you also have, when you have a family, you have to think about their lives as well. How much does that come into play?
They added Lance Lynn.
Yep.
Starting pitcher. They added Joe Kelly. They added Kike Hernandez. They
Running it back with both of them.
They added Ahmed Rosario. So I really do believe the Dodgers ended up, I don't want to say getting screwed out, but they got put in a position where they worked hard. They had Justin. They wanted Justin. They set their sights on another pitcher after that. They got everything together, and then he blocked it. And I think that led to them not making another big move. So you end up with Lance Lynn as your big starting pitcher acquisition. Joe Kelly, sure, good stuff in the bullpen. Kike Hernandez having a bad year. Ahmed Rosario,
personality with Kike,
not great. Yeah, but
vibes, dugout vibes,
good vibes. But I would say underwhelming. I'm gonna give the Dodgers a flat C. What would you give them?
No, that's fair. It's fair. It's unfortunate when you try for something and then you get blocked. Like, it's not necessarily your fault because they were trying to be better and they were trying to get what they knew they needed, and take a big swing, and sometimes you miss. I
do wonder how much of a factor that is, that they went after. I would imagine they were going hardcore after Justin, working with the Mets, and then they set their sights elsewhere. And does that leave them in a position where they ended up just missing out on everybody altogether?